Oh my goodness, you guys. So tired. And so not glamorous. In this video, I'm going to be talking about volunteering, why it's good for you, and how it helps out with your work-life balance. So I'm in the Rural Fire Brigade and it is almost fire season, and so I worked all week, worked full day Thursday, and then got a fire call for Thursday night, and that ended up being much bigger than we thought it was going to be. So did this Thursday night, didn't get to bed till 2 a.m. No, didn't get to bed till midnight. Then I had to back that up with a day of work the next day, and then the fire got bigger. So we got called up again last night, Friday night. Didn't get to bed until 2 a.m. No, 3 a.m. Oh, I'm tired, man. Until 3 a.m. So, and it's 8:45 a.m. right now. So, broken sleep, didn't sleep very well. I'm not sure how coherent this video is going to be, but we're going to be talking about volunteering and work-life balance. Imagine that. But first, I think I need coffee if I want, words. Words. Just go get some coffee. Right, better. I think we can do words now. Let's see how we go. So volunteering, we're going to split it up into 3 topics that we're going to discuss. The first one we're going to look at is social. The second thing we're going to look at is mental. And the third thing we're going to look at is the physical aspects of volunteering and why you should do it. So let's jump right on in. First one, pretty sure I said was social. Still haven't had enough coffee. First one is social. So if you work, like I do, you have your work colleagues, and then usually you have your group of friends separate. Sometimes they cross over, but not very often. But you know that with your colleagues, you're going to be talking about work a lot, you don't share a lot of stuff, and it's all worky. Okay? And then you've got your friend set, and they generally all have things in common with you as well. And sometimes, like I said, they cross over between work and friendships. But then if you volunteer, you actually have a third social group. And this is your volunteer group. Now, these end up sometimes becoming really good long-term friendships, like what my husband and I have found in the Rural Fire Brigade. And then, of course, volunteering at church. We've now got a massive friendship group there as well that we still socialize with outside of the organization, which is great because that grows your social influence and it grows your social life, which is really good in terms of work-life balance. These people who you volunteer with, generally speaking, are going to be quite different to you depending on what it is that you're volunteering for. Of course, there's going to be something that you've got in common because you're volunteering in the same area. So for us volunteering in the Rural Fire Brigade, we all enjoy helping people and serving our community. We all have different careers and different jobs and different family situations, different friendship groups, but we have that one thing in common. We want to serve the community. Same with our church. We're in the worship band for our church, and everyone in our worship band might have different careers and different friendship groups, but the one thing that we have in common is that we love to worship and we love to serve our church. So when you're volunteering, you are going to have something in common with everyone else. However, their careers might be different, their family life might be different, and you get to see a lot of different perspectives. When you're at work, you're in a work bubble, and you're only really seeing that work perspective. When you're with your friends, you generally have a lot more in common, and often, not always, often you will find that you have the same perspective on a lot of things. When you're in a volunteer situation, everyone's perspectives are different because everyone comes from a different life walk, so to speak. And so I think that's a really good way of broadening your horizons and seeing the perspective of other people in the world, and of course making new friends who are different to you. That is the social aspect. Really, really important. I'm not a social person, but I still really enjoy and treasure my time with my fire brigade buddies and of course my worship team buddies. The second thing is the mental aspect. So I suffer from anxiety and mild depression. I'll just be open and honest with it. I'm medicated for it. Nothing to be ashamed of there at all. It's very common, and if you're ashamed of it, the people around you making ashamed of it, we need to have another talk about that in another video, because that's not okay. In terms of my mental health, since starting in the fire brigade, I think I've been in almost 3 years, I've found that my mental health has definitely improved. And I think it's because you're not focusing on yourself when you're volunteering. You're focusing on the community. You're focusing on serving others. If you're going into volunteering with selfish ambitions, you're not going to last. Volunteering is all about everyone else and nothing to do with you. When you're volunteering, the world does not revolve around you. The world revolves around what you can do for others. And I think that is brilliant for your mental health. Everything in the world today is all about self-care, self-care, self-care. And self-care, yes, it's really important. And volunteering probably falls into that category of self-care, but it falls into it in a way that's not selfish. I find there's a very thin line between self-care and selfish, and I think too often we jump over that line, that boundary between being completely selfish and looking after yourself. They're two different things. So if you're volunteering and you're doing it for the glory, or you're doing it for the accolades, or you're doing it because you can get your chainsaw ticket for free, or you can get your truck driver's license for free, or you can get these perks for free, you're doing it for the wrong reason. You have to come with an attitude of servitude. You have to come with an attitude of empathy and compassion, because if you can't do that, you are going to fail in your volunteering career, so to speak. Then you're doing it for the wrong reasons, and it's falling into that selfish category, which we don't want. We don't want that at all. So because you're not focusing on yourself, I find that my mental health has been much better because I'm focusing on what I can do for other people and having compassion and empathy for other people. Really, really, really good. If you are struggling mentally, go and find somewhere that works for you to volunteer at, to focus on others. And it takes away, not completely, but it does minimize that whole poor me attitude, especially if you're volunteering, say, feeding the homeless people or things like that, and you can just see how good you have it compared to others. So that was the mental aspect. I feel like my coffee is really kicking in now, so we're doing well. The third aspect I wanted to talk about is the physical aspect. Now, it all depends on the kind of volunteering you do for the physical aspect. So obviously with fire brigade, I'm getting out in the open, I'm breathing fresh air when I'm not at an actual fire. When we're training, we're working our bodies, we're physically getting out there and, giving yourself a workout, working hard, working up a sweat. It's good for you physically. And to be honest, since I started fire brigade nearly 3 years ago, I have been physically ill or sick far, far less than I ever had been before. Now, I am not the peak of fitness. I'm very unfit. Let's be perfectly honest. I'm very unfit and I'm always puffing and panting on the fire ground. But you know what? It's worth it. It's 100% worth it. And, you know, when I did join the fire brigade, I did use it also as motivation to get fitter so that I could keep up with everybody. Not sure that's happened, but I'm working on it. So physically is a smaller part of the volunteering, and it all depends on the kind of volunteering you're going to do. So obviously the physical for church band is not quite the same as the physical for fire brigade. All depends on the kind of volunteering you do. This is where I'm going off the wagon, where I don't think I've had enough coffee. We have training on a Tuesday night, and Tuesday for me at school is my biggest day. I have every class on that day. I have all the meetings on that day, and usually by the end of that day, I'm ready to blow my top. I'm cranky as all get out, and I just need to physically do something to just get all the crankies out. And fire brigade, I have found, is perfect for that, especially if you're doing physical training and drills and skills, or if you're actually going out onto the fire ground. It's an amazing stress reliever. Seriously, it's an amazing stress reliever, that whole physical aspect of it. And I think if you're volunteering in other areas as well, it makes you focus on something different. So we're going back onto the mental here. You're focusing on something different, not what's at work, what's stressing you out, and you're able to just sort of decompress, de-stress, and it's all good. And yes, physically, if you're doing a physical volunteering, you are going to get tired, especially when, you know, you're on shifts and you still have to work as well. But I have to say that when I get up in the morning, I might be tired, but mentally I've got far more clarity because I've been working physically. I obviously then get a deeper sleep usually. I did on Thursday night, not so much on Friday night. But even though physically you're getting exhausted, you get that mental clarity that comes with it, and knowing that you have done good for the community and you've helped the community just then raises just improves your mentality straight away. It's like endorphins, and they're just buzzing around in your head when you wake up going, yep, I was able to help people today, and that feels really good. So I'm going to encourage you, if you don't volunteer, go and find somewhere to volunteer. If you don't want to be, volunteer physically like SES or fire brigade or, any of those physical ones, you can go and volunteer. If you go to church, volunteer in your church. Go and welcome people at the door. If you have a thrift shop nearby, usually they run with volunteers. So go and see if you can volunteer there. Especially if you love talking to people, working at a thrift shop is a brilliant way to help with your social aspect, that, words. You've got to get words out and you need people to talk to. Thrift store, perfect for that. If you are passionate about helping people who are homeless, go and find somewhere where go and find a shelter that feeds people. Go feed the homeless. Do something. Do something for the community, and take your self-care to the next level of caring for other people. Honestly, that's the best self-care you could go for, is caring for other people. I can't say that enough. I really, really can't say that enough. The best self-care you can do for yourself is to go and care or work for or help someone else. In conclusion, I don't think I would be the person I am today if I had not been volunteering for something for most of my life. I've been volunteering at church for more than 20 years. I've been volunteering for stuff at school. When I've been working as a parent when my kids were little, I volunteered in the classroom. Not my favorite thing, even though I'm a teacher, but I still did it. And honestly, since joining the fire brigade, I have to say, I reckon I'm a better person because of it. Volunteering is good for you. Volunteering is good for the community as a whole. Volunteering is amazing, and it really, really does help with the work-life balance. This comes with a caveat. Don't overdo it. Don't overcook it, as one of my teaching partners would say. Don't overcook it. If you are tired, if you are feeling run down, if you just don't think you can do it, ring up your volunteer people and just say, look, I just can't do it today. You're a volunteer. You don't have to do anything. You don't get paid to do anything. And they will find another volunteer to take your place if you can't do something that one day. Do not let your volunteering turn into another thing that you have to do and then therefore turn it into something that you resent. You don't want to resent it. So be careful with what you choose with your volunteering. Don't overdo it. Work-life balance. Volunteering is not work. Volunteering is part of your life. And if it is making your life harder, time to pull back. All right? Yes, volunteering is excellent, and I highly recommend that you go and do it, but if your work-life balance is really trashed and you're doing too much stuff already, maybe don't. Don't let your volunteering take over your life. It's a volunteer position, and you need to treat it as a volunteer position. I could have gone to another fire this morning, but I'd had 3 hours sleep, and it would have been very silly to do that, because not only was I going to be then mentally and physically exhausted, I would then not be able to look after the people around me, and I wouldn't do a very good job. Plus, I'd be way too tired to go to work on Monday, which I kind of have to do if I want to get paid to pay my bills. I'd be too tired to look after my family. You don't want that. All in balance is what we're going for. So if you enjoyed that video, if you want to know more about volunteering or work-life balance or any of the other things, then give this video a thumbs up. Click that red subscribe button over here somewhere, as well as the bell, so you get new notifications. I post on Saturdays and on Tuesdays every week. And of course, leave a comment down below. Leave me some love and let me know what kind of videos you want. Any questions, ask away. I will try to answer them as soon as I get them. And do you volunteer? Do you want to volunteer? What kind of volunteer are you? What kind of volunteering would you like to get into? I would love to know. And in saying that, I need more coffee, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. I love watching these videos where people do their morning routine and they film themselves pretending to sleep, and they get up and they sleep so daintily. But come on, that's not real. This is real. So tired. Like, so tired. And I don't even know what I'm supposed to be saying right now.